Good evening. Welcome back to another night of the Cantrell Country Travelway Disney Cruise Line Show. Um, Guys, it's good to see you in here tonight. Thank you for being here. Um, let's for all you guys that are coming in. Thank you for being here. If you catch the replay of this show, tonight is the night we talk about cruise lines and traveling cruise lines and different many cruise lines products and services that are offered. Welcome into those that are coming in. My name is David Cantrell. I am the agent and owner of the Cantrell Country Travelway. And if you are looking to travel, I will be sharing my information on how you can get a hold of me and talk with me. We are good to see it. We are glad to see you here tonight.
Hi, guys.
And of course, there's my co-host, Mike.
Hello.
Anyways, here's one thing. We're pretty much playing for the replay people.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll get a few people here in a few minutes, but
right.
You know, unfortunately, we do have some of our Disney friends that are going, like Corey Meets World.
Of course.
Pete was streaming a baseball game, but that was, I don't know if that's over yet or not.
Right.
So
I know that Jeff.
Paul Lingle, there's Paul.
Hello, Paul. Welcome in.
Oh, there he is. There's Paul. There's the one we need to get in here. Him and Stephanie. Welcome in, Paul.
Yeah.
But, you know, it like anything, there's a lot going on with the cruise line industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, there's been a lot of issues going on. They actually have one cruise line that was stopped in health for many days. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what the situation is. I would have to read on it.
Wow.
But, you know,
that's awful.
There's been a lot, there's been a lot of crazy things going on.
Really?
Right now for the cruise line. So, I mean, but I hope you're doing good, Paul. I hope you're having a great week, guys. Yeah. I know I am. I had a good day at work today. I actually got to learn to ride a zero-turn lawnmower.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Oh, it is. It's man, the more I get to learn it, the more I'm going to say, to hell with the lawnmower I got. Give me a riding zero-turn.
Vroom. That's all I got to
say. They cut lawn faster than
they do.
So far, so yes.
Good.
Now we got to get Stephanie in here, and then we can bring you both in.
Yep. Totally.
Because honestly, I'm just going to be talking about from what it would be an experience and experience from a new cruise person searching to do a cruise.
That would be me.
Or what it was like to be a first time cruise experience.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's all, like anything, the first time you experience something, it's really important.
Right.
To make the right decisions on what cruise lines to use, what kind of staterooms you want to get. I mean, because there's so much to offer, and every ship that they build bigger offers more opportunities and obviously more opportunities for luxury.
Right.
And sometimes you can get them at a good, reasonable rate. I know, and a lot of it, sometimes it depends on what cruise ships you're taking out of what ports. I mean, obviously, for the first time, we didn't have a lot of time to do it, but so obviously, when me and my parents did it, we chose the nearest port, which was out of Mayport, and the only cruise line that goes out of there is the Carnival Elation. Elation is one of the earlier ships of the Carnival cruise lines for Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very smaller ship. Not as fancy as some of these
Mm-hmm.
more updated. I mean, you see what Carnival's doing, you see what Royal Caribbean's doing, you see
Right.
what Disney's doing with their cruise ships.
Right. It's called doing your
The
research.
entertainment, the family, the
Mm-hmm.
fun, the excitement, and making the adventure out of a cruise line. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because it's like this. I mean, I did share a room with my parents. You know, just to save money, but now that I look at it, I wish I could have. I wish I could have gotten a separate room for myself, which,
Mm-hmm.
eh,
Yeah.
I had to look but then I also go back and look at my finances.
Right.
It would have been a good thing financially, but
Right.
obviously, so. But this time around, I would make sure I had a separate room.
Right.
When I go on a cruise ship,
Right.
and if someone ever, somebody else went with me, I'd make sure that
Mm-hmm.
they'd have to get their own room. I'd want my own
Right.
stateroom, and of course, the one thing that I would definitely look for is, and the more that I'm experienced, and the more I become experienced as a travel agent,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you if I could look back, I would, and if I could afford it then, it
Right.
would have been get just a small stateroom that
Right.
had a balcony.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an experience.
Right.
But welcome all those that are coming in and out. Don't forget to have the thumbs up if you're new to my
Mm-hmm.
channel. Don't
Yep.
forget to check out my other videos, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe and the bell
Mm-hmm.
notification.
Hi, Stephanie. It's good to see you.
Hey,
Welcome.
Stephanie, there's those two. There's those two Wanna Cruisers things.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get them and get them on.
Right. I have a question, Dave, honestly. So for someone who has never been on a cruise in their life, do the cruise lines have a cruise line for dummies? In other words, I don't know anything about a cruise line or the ship or even how to walk around it. Thank you,
Two things.
Stephanie. Work in
And,
progress for that.
and going back to this, and this is going back to, and I know we've kind of visited,
Mhm.
and I know we kind of visited this topic several times before.
Right.
But again, first thing I would recommend, get with a travel advisor.
Of course.
Um,
That's what I always do.
make sure you get all the information. That's where it starts. It's
Okay.
not that you're a dummy.
Right.
It's that you're just a beginner.
Well,
You're
that's what they
learning.
used to call
You
the
have
book,
to start
with the
somewhere.
Windows for
We
Dummies
all
and all
start
that.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I never was one of these fancy people for, math for dummy. All those books that they go dummies for something or no other.
Right.
I never did particularly care for that because it's not that the person, somebody that's reading, it's
Right.
that you need to get information on
Right.
something because you never dealt
Right.
with it or experienced
Right.
it or
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
That's why that's why you go to a travel
Yeah.
advisor.
Of course.
I mean, honestly, you go to a travel advisor to get the information. You experience it.
Right.
Because honestly and truthfully, I knew
Mhm.
when we went in 2000, and I want to think this was 2008,
Mhm.
2009, somewhere there. It could even have been 2010
Right.
when we actually did this cruise.
Mhm.
We needed to go to a travel agency at that point,
Right.
because of the fact um,
I know who it is.
Well, we had to go to a travel agency because I wouldn't have known where to look, who to search, what was the best prices. And the one good thing is now, first thing you definitely want to do, make sure you get find an experienced travel advisor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Um, and it's look behind them. Unfortunately, all travel advisors start somewhere.
Right.
Right now it's kind of hard for me because I'm just on that starting wave, and I just haven't found the big wave that'll push me over the edge to get me the more experience to deal with a lot more. I mean, it'll come in time. It'll come, but yeah. So that would be the first thing. Find that.
Right.
And this is for anything new. Then make sure you basically talk to your advisor, get all your options.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure he checks all cruise lines.
Right.
I mean, particularly if you have specific. I mean, I'm not saying check all 100 cruise lines.
Right.
But a good place to start would be that if you're looking to go on a cruise on the first time, have three or four listed. Have them check Carnival, have them check Royal Caribbean, have them check the Disney Cruise Line, have them check, MSC. And those are just examples. I'm not saying those are the ones you have to go through. It just depends on what kind of cruise you want. I mean, if you're looking for a cruise line, then you might want to check the Viking Cruise Lines or, check MSC because they do a few river cruises. And there are others that do river cruises that you can have a travel advisor check.
Hi, Debbie.
It's our good friend Debbie Bernfeld.
Hey, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie. It's a great,
big,
beautiful tomorrow. She's always smiling away. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow when Debbie steps in. She's always smiling and very sweet. She's always cheering up to me. And she's always the one that you always talk to because she's so friendly and smiling. She's the best. Anyways, welcome in, guys. So that would be the big thing right there, Mike.
Okay. Because I'm just curious because, one thing that I will say, definitely get your passport. I know that one.
Again.
Yeah.
But also, as a travel agent, I'm only telling you it depends on where you're going.
Right.
But now I also would recommend that you always carry it with you, no matter what, just in case something happens.
Right.
Because I think it had something to do with the visas or something that you end up. And I don't know if it actually had something to do with that because it caused the cruise ship to be held.
Really?
I think it had something to do with that played a part of it of why the cruise ship got held in Spain. And I'm not going to mention the name.
I understand. Yeah, because then you get the legal stuff.
Because it's not, But yeah, you definitely make sure you got your I's dotted, your T's crossed. Make sure you got everything.
Yeah.
Make sure you know how you want to pay for things.
Right.
So you kind of go in knowing some things, but then be flexible to change some of that.
Right.
As you get the information and as you're gathering all the information to make a final decision on what you want to do.
I just noticed something, Dave, seriously about this. Now,
seriously, no, but if Paul and Stephanie, if you guys want to come on, I would love to have you guys just
more than welcome to come on in.
I actually would like to get some people that have never been on a cruise, that want on a cruise, and throw questions at me. Like Mike.
I got one.
I would love to have at least
what do you do about the currency? What about
I will sit here and answer for you to the best of my ability.
I got tons of them. And I'm talking like everything you can think of.
No, but does that answer your first question, Mike?
Yes. Now, my next question. Now, is it safer to have U.S. money, or do you get the country's currency?
Again, and it depends on where you're going.
All right. All right. Okay. With that, Stephanie, you look
Actually, I
fine.
am gonna send it to Paul
Lord.
in case. I know they've been wanting to go on cruises, and I would
Yeah.
love. Hold on,
But I'm
I'm
curious
gonna
what your
send
current-
him the link. I
Okay.
am gonna send
All
him the link. And if they want to come on, Paul's more
Sure.
than free.
Go ahead.
If somebody wants to join us, he's more than welcome to. Well, if I can find it all now. I was doing something with it earlier because I'm actually having an issue with StreamYard right now that
Oh, really? What's the problem?
me, caused by my bank on something.
Debbie, you want to come on too? You're more than welcome.
Yeah, she said.
Everybody getting here. Good grief. See? Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Debbie is absolutely right about that. Stephanie, you look fine.
Oh, Stephanie always looks fine. So does Debbie.
Absolutely.
Debbie looks great.
Yep.
Listen, her and when it was last Saturday, I actually thought it was just going to be me and a few, and I figured I'd be up in an hour. We actually went an hour and a half on Saturday night.
Wow. That's great.
Pete came out for a while. We just sat, talked, had a great time.
Good. Good. I'm glad.
Then, of course, Stephanie, if you want to come on.
Absolutely.
Hey, I can bring Debbie on. Anytime she wants to come on, Listen, how do you think I look? I've been working out. Yeah, I've been working out in the yard all day. But I actually tell Mike, I actually started learning how to drive a zero turn at work at the school. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie.
You look fine without
good no matter what.
You look fine. Makeup or no makeup. Doesn't matter. You look fine.
Listen, if looks really mattered, I'd have to have so much makeup on me. It'd be ridiculous.
Let me tell you something, Stephanie. I get zits and I come on here, okay? You're fine.
Listen.
You're fine.
I mean, if it really mattered, I'd be doing this. I'd be doing this right now. That would take care of some of the, know. But you know what?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But I seriously. So tonight is a good night to just ask questions and throw at me. Seriously, if you really want to know more about cruising and all that, because I will tell you this, I've learned a few things from that now that I've even learned more from the perspective of a travel agent. That I would tell you that, make sure you understand, the wreckable, whatever cruise you
right.
And back then, the apps only did so much. Even 14 years ago, the apps the app didn't do half of what they do today. But I will tell you this: do keep an update on the apps because it did list time shows.
Yep.
Things to do. So when whatever cruise line you do go on, check to see if they have an app for it. Chances are most of them have some type of app, and and of course, and Mike, don't even say it, but I'll say it for you.
Sure.
Yes, keep it updated.
You're good.
Particularly as you make sure it gets updated just before you go on the cruise. It's not so much that you have to update it every day.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, you can, Stephanie. We some of the pictures that we were looking at
Ooh,
last
that
night.
sounds like an interesting
Yes,
place.
Disney Adventures by Disney
Mm-hmm.
does work with cruise lines. You
Nice.
can get
Big Island. That
cruises.
sounds
I
interesting.
think Royal Caribbean has cruises
Hmm,
to the yes.
nice.
You
Where's
can get
that?
cruises. You can the Greek islands,
Mm-hmm.
Turkey,
Oh,
Greece.
over
Those
there.
are the Greek islands.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
what she's talking about. Oh, there's Paul.
Hello. Bring 'em on.
Hey,
All right.
it's always good to see. There's another
Oh,
great
Yes.
yeah.
moderator. It's always good to see you.
Good
Hey, Paul,
evening.
how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Well,
Good.
looking a lot better with my new camera.
Mm.
Okay,
You
you are
know,
looking good.
instead of the
Yep.
one that's always making me look fuzzy.
That's true.
You know, and then with Mike, I just do this.
It's all good. It's all good.
Even though, and I know I'm going to hear it from Stephanie, even though their Starbucks is closed.
I was there today. Oh, Ben. And I sent you a picture the other day with my name up on the board.
Oh, is that the
And
one?
What did
That
I
must
write?
have been the one I accidentally trashed before I got to saw it. Just kidding. Just
Very
kidding.
funny. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
So right now,
Right.
so now this is your guys' time to throw questions at me.
all right.
So, I mean, seriously, ask me. I thought we would do something in reverse tonight where instead of me asking questions about what you guys all want, now, you know, there's sometimes a travel agent needs to step back and listen to a client. Well, we're going to
Mhm.
let this kind of be a voyage where I'm going to sit back, listen to, act like you guys are the clients and you guys ask me questions that you would want to know as
Mike disappeared. I
Where'd
don't know
Mike
where Mike went.
I didn't do nothing to him. I swear.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I'm on a cruise and I have an issue, can I just call you, or how do I handle that as far as if an issue
Okay.
comes up?
Now it depends on whether you got. Now you got to understand that that's an internet issue. That depends on
Mhm.
whether you get. Now, like if you're in port somewhere,
Mhm.
then you can call me, and I can try to help correct it. But I would also recommend go to customer service and talk with them as well. Now, if they are not getting it resolved, then I would say when you're in port somewhere, get a hold of me and I will get a hold of the cruise line and we'll. I mean, I wouldn't want to know immediately if there was an issue going on. That if it's something I can correct, we will get it corrected immediately. So the two-pronged things on that, Paul, would be email, let me know. Let me know if you talk to customer service because I would say talk with them as well. See what they're doing. I mean, apparently Mike wanted to jump off ship. I
I'm
mean,
back. I'm back.
he must have thought he was on a pirate. And Jason Thibodeau, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you,
Jason.
So yeah, that my answer to that question, which is actually a good question, Paul.
Mhm.
You know, if you do have an issue, let your travel. What I don't know if you heard his question, Mike.
Mm-mm.
He was asking if he was on a cruise ship and something came up.
Yeah.
Would he notify me? I would say that's a two-pronged thing. Talk to your customer service on the ships. And then also let whoever you're using as a travel advisor, let them know. Because one, I would want to make sure that I would let them try to resolve it. If they don't get it resolved to your satisfaction,
right,
then I would say, Paul, like if you and Stephanie were on a cruise, then I would say, look, if they don't get it resolved after you talk to them, then you notify me because then I'm going to hop online with the Carnival, or let's just say you guys decide to use Carnival in your case.
Right.
I would get on Carnival and talk to them and see how we get the issue resolved or whatever the issue was. So,
Dave, I just thought about something, and this, there was, okay, so, say that I'm on a cruise, and something literally happens in the States. Like, well, I'm going to use this as an example. Like, say if a disaster happens, and I mean a big one. How does that work when you are out at sea, you have no cell, you have nothing? How do they let you know that kind of stuff?
what do you mean by disaster? Define it. You would have to define your.
9/11.
That's a broad spectrum.
9/11, yeah.
9/11.
9/11. Wow.
Yep. I'm talking that kind of stuff, because how do you even, one, navigate that? Two, how do you get back to the States if...
Now here's
For
the problem
example,
with that.
what happened in Baltimore?
Here's the problem with that. That now becomes a government.
Right.
That is out of your travel advisor's hands. Because when you got something like down with 9/11, communications.
Right. But
yeah, I mean, exactly. First of all, that's a very slight chance of, and we talked about this before, Mike. You
yeah.
it could happen. 9/11 happened.
It happened, but people were away on vacation. They had no way to get back.
It's very unlikely for it to happen.
Yeah.
Particularly after 9/11.
Right.
9/11 was like Pearl Harbor. We got so comfortable in our lifestyles, we just lowered our guard. And again, now it's going to be several years before we lower the guard to let that ever happen again.
Right. But what I'm saying is, how do you even okay, let me go a whole with a different level.
Well, here,
what happened in Baltimore?
This one. Let me finish answering that one.
Okay.
Simple thing is this: the cruise lines will let you know when you're able to communicate with the family. Because obviously communication systems will be quite tightened at that turn.
Absolutely.
Not so much airways. I mean, when you're on the land, communications will still go from one to one to one to one to one. First of all, particularly if it happens up in that area in Boston, let's say your cruise came out of that ship, ports will, first of all, they will find a way to let you communicate.
Okay.
And it's a lot easier now when you got Zoom and some of these other streaming services that you can actually video call from one. So my inclination on that is that they would find some way to let everybody communicate with the family somehow.
Okay.
Now this is just my guess, but that would be the way. Obviously, the ships would not return to port right away.
Right.
Because of the security factor in it. I mean, like I said, the ship that I went, we actually got escorted by not only the Coast Guard, but, small watercrafts from the Navy, because we went right by Mayport.
Wow.
I mean, you could clearly see where the destroyers were. You could see where the carriers were put at.
Wow.
I mean, that close.
Okay.
So they would, military wise speaking, it would be tight.
Okay.
They would find a way to get you to communication wise. Even in an emergency, even if the ship was having an emergency, they would find some way to communicate.
Okay.
Good evening, Dean. Oh, our favorite turkey legster is in the house. Hey, Dean.
Good to see you.
Welcome in, buddy.
Okay.
Now, along those lines, Dave.
What?
Along those lines, Dave, the recent disaster here up in Baltimore,
Yes,
that's another example.
it is.
I was wondering, well, changing ports as far as ships too.
That's a good one.
And they could. They could.
So
they
how
could
does that
alter
work?
that it could alter where you may land at that point.
Okay.
With that. Like I said, I was reading the article and I haven't read the full article, but like I said, and it don't even have to be a major disaster like this. There was a cruise ship had some type of issue,
I remember
and I think
that
it had to do with some of the visa issues that you have to get when you go to visit some of these foreign countries, and this was in Spain. Well,
Wow.
that cruise ship was held for so many days. I mean, it actually was stuck in port, and then some of the guests were taken off the cruise ship because of it. So I don't know what the full issue is on like that, but if when you run into something like that, yeah, you have to be prepared to obviously get a hold of your advisor.
Yeah.
Not that much that the advisor can help when you got situations like that, because that actually becomes between the government or wherever you're at and the
I understand that.
But yeah, I'd let your advisor know, because he can always keep in touch with your family and obviously talk with the cruise line to see what's going on. And try to ease up and see what the cruise line's doing it from their perspective. But yes, I would say that would be most likely the next thing they would do.
Okay.
Would be, because like when they have, well, here's a kicker. Mike, you've seen me watch. There's a streamer called the BLS. It watches the Port of Miami. It's live cams. You've seen the ships come and go. I've kind of showed you where the ships come and go. Well, they've actually had cruises that weren't stopping in Miami have to pull into the Port of Miami because they've had medical evacs. Which means if there is something medically going on that they can't handle on the ship, that cruise would notify the nearest port that they could pull into, and the ship would make a dock available ready for them to pull in and take care of the medical evacuation.
Now,
if you're going to the Caribbean islands, no, you do not need a passport. Like if you're going to the British, if you're going to the U.S. Virgin Islands, if you're going to Puerto Rico, but if you're going to the Caribbean, a lot of the islands you do not need it for the Caribbeans. But like if you're going to Europe, Australia, places like that, you would need your passport. Now, I myself would tell you to carry them just. My issue would be, I'd say carry them just in case there's an emergency and you might need them. So, but I can answer Stephanie that you do not need them for the Caribbeans or the Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands.
Now, has that changed for Bermuda? Because I remember when I went years ago, we only needed driver's licenses.
Yeah.
So do you know if that changed or not?
I think Bermuda is like Puerto Rico. I think I would have to double check. I'm not going to sit here and say I know that one because I haven't really taught. But I think I think Bermuda is like, I think you only need your driver's license.
Okay.
But that would be one of those answers. I'll say, not everybody can know everything.
Right.
I'd have to get back to you, but I think if I read correctly, because I haven't looked into the Bermuda as much yet in a while, but I think you only need your driver's license.
Okay.
What is the best deck on the cruise ship? Well, that would depend on what you're looking for. If you're looking for good food and entertainment, that would be the Lido deck. That would be your main deck that cuts across through the whole ship. Your Lido deck is usually where it has most of your pools, most of your restaurants, your shop or gift shops, because usually the Lido deck is where you enter into the main area as you're entering on the cruise.
That's a good question, Stephanie.
Now, it depends on what you're talking inclusive. If you're talking like specific restaurants that are outside of your dining, because they have so many dining options that do include, and that varies from cruise line to cruise line, depending on what they have on the ships. And I can tell you from my past experience, we had a buffet area on the back of the ship, because that's where also the area where as let's see, who was it? Oh, James, Cherie's husband. James is like me. We love our pizza 24/7. When you're on a cruise ship, that ain't nothing better than a pizza 24/7 thing. So they have specific areas for things like that. No, you can get dining package as well, because there are specific. They do have restaurants that you actually will have to pay for and make reservations for.
Right.
So there are some restaurants that have what they call nominal fees. They're up and more, and that would be your inclusive. So now what type of restaurants they are, that varies from cruise line to cruise line on what they offer. I mean, and here's the thing about that is it depends on where you're traveling. I mean, obviously, if you're traveling to like Italy or the Greek islands, you're gonna have a lot of choices of that type of food culture. If you're going to the Philippines or say Japan or somewhere in the Pacific, you're going to get the Asian type of food culture, which you can get on all the ships. Most of them offer some type of Asian food culture, but some do. Most of the cruise lines do have. Yes, most of the cruise lines do have dining time. Now, how that works varies from cruise line to cruise line, because obviously you guys have heard us talk about Disney, where Disney, you're rotating.
Yes.
They got 2 to 3 dining areas that have different storytellings.
There's usually 3 and
at least 3, and you're rotating that every night.
With the Impala
with Disney, you're rotating your cruise thing.
Yes.
Your server is rotating with you.
Right.
Now I can tell you with Carnival, we had the same. I believe we always had the same server. We always had the same people. I mean, I actually only used. You know how many times I used the dining thing?
Once.
Rest of the time, I mean, because the food service, we actually on the Carnival Elation again. Carnival Elation is one of the earlier ships for Carnival, and it's a small one. So it had like a big buffet style. It had a big buffet for dessert. One area had a big buffet for chicken, salad, roast beef. Another one, it had steak. Another section had different types of like pork chops, steak, other things like that. And some, because on the Lido deck where the pool was, it had Guy Fry's restaurant. And then it had a restaurant where you could actually get some Asian wraps, things like that, and salads and things that you could do on the deck. Those were the ones that were only open from like 10, 11 a.m. to like 5 or 6 in the evening. So like that. So it varies from. Yes, Debbie, that's exactly. So that hopefully that answers your question. So most of the time, yes, it's usually the same table mates and dining. How they do it varies from cruise line to cruise line. Yes, most of them you end up with the same waiter and waitress. I know that is particularly true because Richard himself has said that on all the cruise, on the Disney cruises, if you've heard Richard out when he's on every dining experience that he has had on the Disney cruise, that waiter or waitress has followed him.
Yes.
For each of the different experiences.
Okay. Dave, I have a question as far as drink. Do they offer drink packages?
Yes,
at all?
They do.
Okay.
You can. They do offer. They do actually. You got a few options. You can. There's a. You can get a non-alcoholic package, strictly non-alcoholic, or you can get a strictly alcoholic package, or you can get one that covers both. So you got like 3 options for drinking.
That's good.
Okay. Now, I have a question about the customs. Now, here's my question. What do you need to declare? And what's fine? Because for me, when I do my first the Disney cruise, I'm gonna be bringing back stuff, but
I can tell you this.
How do you declare stuff to the U.S. government via customs?
And I will tell you, let's say you're coming from one of the Caribbean islands. I can tell you that if you're bringing a specific type of alcohol from that country or a specific type, there's cheeses that you would have to declare, alcohol you would declare. Okay. I couldn't tell you off top hand of everything that you would declare. I mean, certain gift items you wouldn't have to declare.
Like, is there like a list or something?
There is a list.
Okay.
And you could ask when you are actually booking. That may be one of the questions that you could ask your advisor, and we would. I could, because even your advisor couldn't tell you offhand. I can just tell you some of the things offhand that they would. And alcohol and cheese are 2 of the biggest things out of the Caribbean that they do tax that you have to report for sure.
I see.
So it's mainly consumption items and things like that.
Yeah, most of it is consumption. I think there's a few other things, Paul, but that I would have to look at the list because
not like clothing or anything like that.
That's what I was going to ask.
Right,
that would be the most thing on my list.
Right.
Unfortunately, Stephanie, I would say I have to answer no. You cannot bring your own line or preferred alcohol on board. That the only way you could do that is if you were getting it from a foreign country, but you would have to declare it and pay the taxes and the imports on that. And then you could bring it back, but then it would have to be packed. Otherwise, I mean, for the most of it, I think you would, depending on which cruise line, especially if you get on the bigger cruise ships, that they do. And trust me, rum's not bad.
Also, trying to get it like on board rather than getting it off the when you go off to the different countries. When you get on board, do you have to declare that stuff too? That on the ships, the stores on the ships, because that's.
Oh no! You mean stuff that you buy in the stores on the ship?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's all. That's a lot of now because you do play your imports and your taxes a lot ahead of time on some of this stuff, but that only covers up to some things. It does, and you said it, Paul. I think a lot of it is your consumables that you actually have to pay the import taxes and report it. Because here's the thing: no matter what country you step into, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, one of the Caribbean islands, Unfortunately, I wish they could be duty free, but unfortunately, they're not, Stephanie. And that has a lot to do with the Caribbean islands and what they require. So,
Right.
It goes back to that. Obviously, the Department of, that covers all this. It's the agreements that they have between the U.S. and the ports that they allow the cruise lines to travel to.
Are other ships duty free? Are the ships duty free or no?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Duty free.
Yeah, on the ships itself. I think I heard somewhere else that once you get off out to sea, the ships are duty free. But I don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I just heard it somewhere.
Yes. Oh, okay. You mean
on the ships
on certain things? Yes. Like if they have a casino on the ships, those casinos are not allowed to operate within
no tax
port waters of any country. So things like that have to wait till they get out in international. Yes, that they are duty free. Anything that's on the ship, this is why they will tell you the ships will not open until they are out on international waters.
That was my question.
That's why I had to think about what she meant by duty free, and then and then she just said it. Yes, the stores won't open up until you're on international waters. Casinos won't open up until you're on international waters, and yes, those are duty free. They don't. You pay the prices, and I mean, obviously, I think they charge a little bit of taxes on it. I mean, who doesn't charge taxes on anything anymore? I mean, let's face it, we pay more taxes. Didn't we revolt on taxes from England? I mean, so what's up with this, people? And then we're paying taxes to our own. Something went wrong when we set this government up. Of course, I'm not trying to revolt. I'm just saying.
No.
But that's how it works. Is that yes, for the duty-free stuff, that's why the casinos and the shops don't open up until they're out into international waters.
So. Let me ask you this question, Dave. Now, most of the cruise ships are usually in your the local time zone. I know for me, I'm in the Eastern time zone. Now, when you get out to where you are, how do you get your body to adjust from your time zone to boat time zone?
That's an individual. That there is an individual thing, Mike.
Okay.
Your body has to just adjust to
right.
It. Like I said, because for me, I would get. Here's my thing. I would get up at 7:30 in the morning, go for breakfast. I mean, unfortunately, my parents were sick 2 or 3 of the days that we were out at sea. That we were cruising, so it was just me out and about the ship, and pretty much both ports I pretty much went by myself.
Okay.
So the thing of it is, anything that's aboard ship, it's duty free. You only pay what the ship taxes you on. But most of that, again, it goes back to why they don't open up until after they're in. And it has something to do because of the taxes of why they don't open up until they hit international water. I know that's definitely why the casinos don't open up.
Speaking
finish your but to finish the other thing.
Yeah.
Now what was I saying?
Like, how do you get your body to be okay?
Time zone thing.
Yes.
That's an individual thing, Mike.
Okay.
That's an individual. There's nothing you can really do.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I would get up at 7:30 in the morning, and I'd be up all the way, and I wouldn't go. I would hit the dance club, like on the car. I would hit the
Mhm.
dance club or do like the
Mhm.
adult comedy show late at night.
Right.
I wouldn't get back to my room until 1 or 2 in the morning, and
Mm.
then I'd be back up to 7:30 in the morning the next morning.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that is an
Okay.
individual thing. I would tell you this: make sure you guys get. And I will tell you this: when you do go on your, and this is for Paul and Stephanie particularly, and you, Mike, even when you do
Mhm.
get to go on, if you ever get to go on your first cruise,
Yeah.
when you guys do it, make sure you guys get a few good days rest
Okay.
ahead of your cruise.
Okay.
I mean, so like let's say you and Stephanie decide to take you know, go out of either Port Canaveral or out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami.
Mhm.
I would definitely make sure that get a few days rest ahead of time. Especially if you have to travel to your port, get
Mhm.
there a day before so that you
Mm.
guys can
Okay.
get a good night's sleep before, because it's going to be a long. Unless you're part of their memberships where you get
Mm.
the quick check on
Mhm.
and things like that, and then of course,
Yeah.
obviously, as you do more, and it's called the embarkation. Um,
Mhm.
make sure you get rest before that, because the embarkation, it'll take 2 to 3 hours for you to get on the ship.
Right.
So
Now, do you have specific times you get on the ship, or does everybody get on all at once?
know the specific times, and that's according to
Mm.
like if people get, obviously if you're spending the real money.
Mhm.
Hold on. Can you highlight Debbie's question for me so
Yes.
we don't lose that?
Yes,
Debbie,
we can.
Mike, highlight it and let me
There you
finish
go.
Paul's question.
Sure.
That varies, Paul, and
Okay.
it can be that can vary with if you're part of their rewards club.
Mhm.
You may get priority checking in, and then it goes from then it works down along what type of rooms you got. Like if you
Mhm.
got a concierge room,
Right.
you're going to get priority check in first.
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to get you on the ship first, and then they work their way down. I mean, if you're like us, they got. I think we finally got on. We were due to leave at 4 o'clock. We officially got. I think they told us to check. We started checking in at 11. I think we got on ship by 1:30.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it goes by deck according to where the rooms are in the estates, but then it
Mhm.
also goes to like, are you a concierge? Then are you at a higher suite level? And then they work their way down. So that's why they say get there 3 hours ahead of time before departure. And most cruise ships, I will tell you, will depart anywhere from 4 o'clock to 6.
Mm.
And that's across the standard.
Okay.
That's the standard time across
Okay.
the industry itself.
Okay.
Usually between 4 p.m. and 6,
Okay.
because most of the cruises that pull into port, they
Mhm.
pull in early in the morning,
Mm.
but they don't force anybody off till after breakfast. So it's like 9 or 10 before a lot of people start disembarkation.
Mhm.
Um, Okay, if I'm understanding you right, Debbie, can you disembark anytime during the day, or are you restricted to disembark at a set time? For example, morning on the ship, disembark during the evening before the ship departs from the port. Now, are you talking about when you're a visiting port, or are
Mhm.
you talking
I think that's
about?
what she's asking.
So I'm trying to understand this more. If it's about you visiting a port, or is this more about you getting on board ship and disembarking at the end of your cruise?
Yeah, I think what she's asking is when you go to like the port and they let you up for like a certain amount of time during the day.
Yes,
Right.
visiting a port. That's what
Yeah.
I needed to know. That's what I thought she was talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, you could disembark in the morning. But again, when you do go to the port, watch your time. I will
Yes.
tell you, You want to see some of the funniest videos on YouTube?
Oh, let me tell you, I've seen them.
Watching people running down the
I've seen them
down
run.
the
I've actually seen them miss it.
and miss it. Cruise lines have gotten to the point where they're pulling out of port
I'm
and
glad they're
people are
doing
yelling
that.
at them to stop. Well, you ain't stopping the cruise ship. They ain't turning that
Did
thing.
you see the
Yeah,
one
no, they're
video?
reversing and backing up.
Oh my gosh! I saw this one.
Well,
the interview about that. With that,
hold
and
on
I'm
to
like,
that thought.
are you serious?
Yeah, hold on to that thought, and we'll let you finish your thought on that. Let me
Sure.
finish. Let me go ahead and finish her question.
Sure.
So here's how you deal with that. If you know you want to be gone for a certain amount of time, obviously, if you know what time you're pulling into the port, and they will tell you the day before what time you're pulling into the port, they'll say we're pulling in at 7 a.m. We're leaving port at 5 o'clock, and I can guarantee you, they may be a little bit of after that time. And sometimes, now if they have medical or a ship type things that they need to take care of, for the most part, most cruises pull out within that amount of time. Sometimes you may be a half an hour late because, you do here's the smart thing that you do. If you know you're going to be late when you're pulling out of port, get on the horn, call the cruise line.
Yes.
Get a hold of the ship and say, look, I was on a tour. The tour had a, tell them, look, there was an issue with, let's say you're doing a dolphin sightseeing tour, and the ship for some reason came back late from that tour. Let's say you only had, let's say you're about 45 minutes from the dock, and you know it's going to take you at least 50 to 55 minutes. Call the ship, call the cruise line, let them know. They will notify the ship. They will work around that because that was not your fault. But if you let them know, then they will work with it. But if you're just outright late and you're running down the cruise,
I'm going to do it.
You may get lucky. You may get lucky to get back on. You may not. And if you are caught stuck in that port,
you're on your own.
And we'll take. Hi, Molly. We'll say it. We'll talk to you in a minute. If you get stuck in that port, then you're responsible for your own flight back to the U.S.
Yep.
Or you're responsible from the flight from that port to the next port to catch up with the ship. So either way, you're going to be paying.
Well, speaking
of, and if you're pretty much port where you have to fly back to the U.S., you ain't seeing your luggage until the ship gets back to port.
Okay.
So
okay.
So the best thing here's the best thing.
Good.
Make sure you know that if you want to do some activities in each port, sometimes book ahead. Talk to those, make reservations, know what times they are doing those things, coordinate it with the time your ship is leaving port. Because I'm going to tell you, my bet as a travel agent, I will tell you, make sure you're back on board an hour before you leave port. Now, that's just my advice.
Right.
Take it with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you, because I've seen people. When I was on Carnival and we've had Disney cruise ships parked next to us. I've seen Royal Caribbean ships parked in the port, and I've seen people run to those ships. It's hilarious. I wish I had. Believe me, if I wish I could have had a stateroom that had it would have been funny. This is what happens.
People are yelling at him.
Fourth time and you're getting ready to pull out.
And they are literally with the cheering and everything. Now, with the video,
I've seen videos where the ships have gone because they're blowing at them as they're leaving port and they missed them.
It's funny because these people, they were actually being interviewed about this, and the way that that they were talking about, I'm like, you people obviously have no sense of time because now, mind you, they were on an excursion by a third-party company, not by the ship or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but with the way that they were talking about, I'm like, really? I'm like, I mean,
You'll have to get the details to me because that's
I will send you the video if I can find it. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
'cause
Oh,
there's something that sounds a little funny.
Oh yeah.
If they booked it, now did they book it
They
through
were in Africa, by the way.
oh
or
wow.
They were in Africa.
wow?
You
Okay. Well,
you know
yeah,
the one that I'm talking about, Paul?
I
Yeah.
will tell you that
You know the
when
one
you
I'm
go,
talking
you
about,
need
right?
to
The
be
one
I
that
think
went
so,
to
yeah.
America. Yeah,
you
that
have
one.
to be careful. I don't care which port you go into.
Mm,
Make sure you're aware of everything. Make sure you're aware of their
absolutely.
customs. Make
Yes.
sure you are aware of what areas you don't want to go into, and stay to the good areas that is highly recommended by
And
your
know where the
travel
U.S.
agent
Embassy is too.
and the cruise
Mhm.
line.
Mhm.
Because they're going to only tell you the good areas to go to.
Right.
They will tell you things
Mhm.
to look for. But
Right.
now let me officially welcome Molly in. Hey, Jen, welcome in.
Hello.
It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all.
It's a
It's a
small,
small world
small
after all.
world. And it's
Small,
a world of
small,
laughter, a world of tears. There you go. It is
and
so
yes,
good to see you.
Stephanie, we are going to get you a song. We have to get it together.
Of course we do.
We have to get the right Disney song for it.
Yeah, we do.
I got a
But
question, Dave.
Yes.
okay.
I'm sorry, as far as I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike, but
Go ahead.
along those lines of the excursions, you said to book them ahead of time, but what if you find one that you want to do? Can you book it on the ship? Or I mean, like while you're on it?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Now, like, you may want to say we want to be so flexible,
Mhm.
because you'll have a concierge service on all ships.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Where if you want to wait to book those excursions, obviously your travel advisor can help you with it too, and they
Mhm.
will be able to show you because obviously they're going to try to give you the best deals that they can. But if you want to see what all is available, then yeah, talk to your concierge service. They will be able to give you a list of these are the recommend ones we recommend. And yes, like so, let's say you're at sea the day before and you're pulling into a port and you want to see what they excursions you do. Talk to your concierge there, and they can try to book it for you. Pending on and there now the one thing you're going thing is whether they have the reservations are available.
Mhm.
So,
And those excursions are the same time that the ships are in port, right? Because
yes,
you don't want to book
yes,
something like
yes, they will
Okay.
tell you. Make sure that make sure that when you're talking to the concierge, we know that and double check to make sure they'll be able to tell you that the ship is leaving port at around this time. So they'll tell you you want to make sure that you're there at least a half an hour before the ship. I say an hour myself.
Yeah, just to
So
be safe.
that's FYI for you guys. For me to be safer I'd rather be sitting in a deck chair an hour before we leave port with a glass, especially if it's sunshiny, relaxing, than rushing to get back. In most ports, it's usually, and you'll find out most cruise ships leave about 5 or 6. They give you enough time to enjoy the port. You're usually there about 7 to 8 hours to enjoy the port.
Nice.
So just be aware of the time that you're pulling in, time you're pulling out, and then, especially if you want to wait till you get on ship, talk to your concierge, they'll be able to tell you, and then you can reconfirm and make sure that, will this give me enough time to get back to the ship before we actually have port? So, does that answer that question, Paul?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Now, with the excursions, how do you pay for it? Beforehand or that morning, and what do you pay cash? Is that can you use your card? I mean, how does that work?
I will tell you this: that most ships won't deal in cash. They deal with very little cash.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, like the stores, you can pay cash, I believe. So they do deal with some cash.
Right.
And they do have some ATMs, especially if they have casinos in that. So you will find some ATMs on the cruise line. So you can pay cash for some things.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying have a good balance. Make sure, you might maybe say, like, I would say, if you're really wanting to spend and get some souvenirs, maybe have $500, $300 to $500 on cash. Don't keep it all in one place though.
Right.
But yeah, do that. So, as far as the excursions, Mike, usually when you book them, you'll pay for it right then and there. Not unless specifically, now they will tell you whether that excursion accepts cards, or whether they accept cash. Now, if they accept cash, then obviously that's telling you can have cash on hand and you can pay for it. Because there was some things that when we pulled in port, because mom and dad were able to enjoy the first port before they really got sick.
Right.
And we did pay cash for some things. Right. And that's buying souvenirs that we did not have to declare.
Right.
So you can pay some cash for some things.
Okay.
That would there another FYI for you, Paul. When you talk to the concierge, find out whether you need to pay by card, which usually it's right then and there, and then the concierge can book it, and then you would just pay. I would assume pay for it right then and there.
Right.
But if they accept cash, then you could book it through the concierge, and then probably pay for it when you get to whatever the excursion is that you're doing.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So.
Oh, now, when you get the on board, what do you do first? Do you eat first? Do you walk around? I mean, how do you figure out what to do as soon as you get on the ship for the very first time? Do you eat? What do you look at the map?
That varies, Mike. That depends on you.
Okay.
I know I walked around. We actually, Dad was starting to get up there in age at that point in time. So we basically sat him at a table. We got him some drinks and some food. So I did walk around a little bit first, but then, and I wish I had those things. I wish that was all on one phone I had, and that phone busted on me. Half of this wasn't even around when I would have loved to have been able. It would have been good to post it because I had some good shots from things too. But yeah, once you get on, I would definitely recommend exploring.
Okay.
Now what you do first, that's an each individual. Some may want to get on there and pay for their drink packages, because some of them you can actually, most of them have some type of tiki bar at the pool lounge, and you can do that, or you can do it through the concierge, I believe, as well.
Okay. Oh, when can you go to your room as soon as you get on board? How long does that take? Because I know on some, as soon as you get on the ship, you literally cannot go to your room until
most cruises. It's usually after your bags get to your room.
Okay.
Because most of them, at least with Carnival, when we went, they said our bags were sitting right outside the door.
Okay.
But they were delivered. We checked them in, but they were delivered to our room. But that's because we had Dad, which we were able to get disability at
Right,
that point.
right,
But then
right.
because of age,
Mm, I just
well,
thought of this.
he was starting to get up there in age at that
I
point.
get it.
He was already well in his 70s at
Right,
this
right.
point. Actually, almost 80s, I think.
Mm,
Might have been near 8.
mm.
See, he just passed away. He was 97. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, he was just. He was get. I would say when we went on this cruise, he was just a year or two, give or take a year or two, just before his age, before he hit
Wow.
his age.
Mm.
So yeah, so obviously we were able to get disability accessibility type of thing for him. But yeah, and of course you can pay for concierge and all that, and
Okay.
they will take. And most
Right.
of it, and even that, I think
Mhm.
most of them cruise lines, you actually check your luggage in, and they will make sure they get to it.
Okay.
I think a lot of them tend to offer that type of service, but
Mhm.
some of it they may have moderate fees for that, unless you get in like a suite or a concierge room, which then some of that's automatically included on those type of rooms. So yeah, but I think most cruise lines, you do not get into your rooms until maybe an hour before you pull out a cruise line,
Okay.
because
Mhm.
obviously you don't want to be staying in your room when you're pulling out of park, because that's
Right.
the
Mhm.
best part
Right.
when you and you're throwing all the confetti and all that.
Right. Right.
Not to that extent, you don't go like that extent, like kind of Love Boat.
Mm. I just thought of this, and I
But you
just
do,
thought of this.
you do want, obviously, you do want to watch the ship pull out of port.
Oh,
Stephanie just said something that
yes,
I was
they
going
do
to
do
actually
that.
get into as well.
DCL does that before you even leave the port. I know
Yeah.
that for a fact.
I was going to ask that. She and I
Yeah.
are on the same wavelength.
Actually, the ship does pull out of port,
I know
but you
DCL
do
does.
it. They do it shortly after you pull out of port.
Okay. Now,
That's
is it a video or? I mean,
because
or do you have to
DCL
go?
does it when
It
you're
could
still
be
on
now a
board,
video. It could be now a
as
video
far as I
call.
know.
I know when I went, you actually had to gather. They gathered you to where you're supposed to report to, because they had certain areas,
Yeah.
and it depends on where your cabin was. And if your cabin was within a certain area, then you would report to that area. This was now you're talking almost 15, 17 years ago.
Right.
So, and I took the cruise anywhere from 2008 to 2010, I would think. So,
Right.
but like Mike and Richard have said, a lot of these cruises have now gone to videos, and
Yes,
sometimes they do both.
they do
Sometimes
both.
they do
Some
both.
do.
Some do both. Some will play. Some you can actually put on the TV in your rooms, and they'll
Yes.
play the safety part of the drill. But then you still have to actually know
'Cause
where to meet. If you have
because
to
I know,
abandon, you know where to go to get on whatever.
well, because I know for DCL, and I watched many the streams about this, where on now with the on your the cruise card, the the on there is where you need to be for that, and it will say where you need to be and everything.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna go so far as a point, and this is why you need to make sure that you have the app for the
Yes.
whatever cruise line you're doing. Make sure, and this will be especially for you and Paul, or for you and Stephanie, Paul, that if you do take a cruise line, whichever one you have, most of them have the apps. Make sure you download it, because
Yes.
a lot of that information will also be on the app somewhere for you guys. You know, it'll show you the itinerary of what time the shows are, what day, what shows are on what day.
This is DCL's app, is what it looks like. I can't do it very well because of the glares and stuff, but yeah, but this is what it looks like when the app is open.
It's not. Wrong
Yeah.
one, Paul. Sorry. It's not always about the DCL app. I'm telling you that now.
This is what the app looks like. So, this is what it looks like. So, and I just looked at it. Let me think. The date. If it's very, very windy on decks, how do you walk around and not get blown off your feet, if you know what I mean? Like, how do you
I don't know,
do
'cause
it?
I didn't have that problem.
Yeah,
I
I
had
know that.
you're talking to a Navy person.
I know that.
Okay,
Dave.
you're
What I'm
talking to
saying
a
is,
Navy
for
person.
someone
I
who
got
has
my sea legs. So
issues,
while everybody,
how do you even navigate this?
very carefully.
Thank you.
Now you got to remember. Here's the thing, and this is the difference between Navy ships and cruise lines.
I know.
Navy ships, they're meant for speed. They're
Right.
meant for quick maneuverability. Cruise lines are not. They have stabilizers to keep you. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to stop the ship from going back and forth.
Right.
You're gonna
I
have a little
understand
bit
that.
of rocking, but they do have the stabilizers for the most part that
Right.
does it. Now, if you run into a storm like we did and it
Right.
was really rocky, I mean, I
Right.
told you I sat at the windows on the Lido deck,
Yeah.
on the indoors part of that Lido deck, watching the waves, and you could see them come up
Right.
big time.
Right.
And you could feel the ship rocking
Right.
to a point, and the people that were up and about, because most people were, they were down in the rooms on adrenaline or whatever they were taking to keep from getting seasick. But you could feel the ship like this.
That's an interesting question,
I
Stephanie.
did. I could feel being
Oh, I would love to have that happen.
tilted a little bit.
Okay.
You just have to be, when you're navigating it, be very careful. And if you're walking on the decks, make sure you got shoes that are not slippery. Especially if it's
my
raining.
shoes are different,
Especially if
so
it's
it's like I'm
raining
gonna have
in
a
the
tougher time
States.
doing it.
And welcome in, Dave Sagan. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you are doing good.
Well, Stephanie has a question about this, and I want to know about this too, because I have always wanted to know this.
Well, here's my answer for this one, and
Okay.
Paul said it.
Money.
Yep, there's your answer. It is. Yes.
How much does it cost to do that?
I would say in the old days, it was probably luck that you got. Maybe in the earlier days of the cruise lines, they chose people, but now you can actually. Most of them have some type of experience, like the Royal Caribbean. Most of your, especially like MSC, Royal Caribbean, and I don't know what Disney does for sure because we really never got into that. That's a good question for Richard the next time around. What type of cabins table they have experience for DCL, because we never really got into that, Mike. That's actually a good question.
It is a good question.
On DCL. But I can tell you from experience for Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, Celebrity, they have specific type of, they'll have like a special dining type of thing where you pay the extra money and you get to sit with the captain or the chef. It's not necessarily they call it the captain's table, but sometimes you may be sitting with the head chef that's on the ship.
The head chef would be my choice.
I know for the Royal Caribbean, their captain type of dining, tables type of dining is more of a restaurant type of feeling where they'll show you how to prepare the food. You may get to experience and help create some of that food. Get a little culinary exposure, and then you actually sit down and eat that food, and then the chef will sit with everybody as you're dining.
Right.
So there's each dining experience for each ship, as far as the captain table type of thing, varies from cruise line to cruise line as to what they do. But most cruise lines, especially on the bigger ships, now I don't think they had that with Carnival Elation. I don't think. But then again, that was Carnival Elation. The one I went on to was one of Carnival's earlier ships. So that ship had been around since the early 1990s.
Right.
So the ship was probably already 20 years old when I went on it, at least, or give or take. But the bigger cruise line now, now they're making these big, huge. Anybody that's seen the Icon, you see how much bigger they're making these ships. And the Icon, I hate to say it, it dwarfs even over the Disney Cruise Line ships.
I love my Disney.
Sorry, Mike, it does.
I know.
The Icon is a 650,000 tonnage.
I know. You know what, Dave? I just thought of something.
Oh, 2,000 passengers.
Right.
And part of that is crew.
And I just thought of this too. How do the ships... Now, this is going to sound a little bit silly, but I'm going to ask anyway. How do the ships make sure that they're not near any the whales and or the dolphins and turtles and things like that?
Ships aren't
going to try not to hurt them.
I'm going to tell you now, that is an impossible factor. They got too many computerized navigation systems that.
Okay.
And most whales, when they see ships, will avoid those type of things.
I see.
I mean, you may see them. You may get a glimpse of them, luckily, but yeah, you.
Well, like jellyfish and stuff like that. I mean,
Oh, good gravy! You won't even see them. Not on the big cruise ships. You won't see them.
You never know.
And most ships, the animals are fairly well.
Okay.
They'll avoid it. Yeah, no. I can guarantee you one thing: you are not gonna. The ship ain't gonna crash because they ran into a whale. I can almost give you 100% guarantee on that. In fact, I'll give you 100.
You never know about this kind of stuff. I mean, seriously. I mean,
I highly doubt it. Now, have they?
I care about animals in my own way, but
I mean, no, and I understand that, Mike, because I love the beautiful dolphins. I love the whales. I don't want to guarantee the cruise line. They take very careful of not to hit them. Now, have they? They probably have, but it's not going to be large enough to damage the ships.
Okay.
Well, for the most part, the ships are pretty strong built.
Okay, just checking.
Dave and Mike, I think I have to get going. I appreciate you having me on.
Sure.
Hopefully that got some more questions that gives you some more answers for you and Stephanie that gives you more into. You're more than welcome to come back on because maybe one week we can talk. I will tell you this. If it's not next week, maybe the week after, maybe we can talk Stephanie to come on and we will talk about the Greek islands. I will do research from all my cruises and I will see what I can find on it. I know there's cruises that go to the Greek islands. So
sure, she would love that.
If you and Stephanie would love to come on one week, we will discuss everything cruise line. We'll even rope Mike to come in.
Oh, with that and buy things.
Like I said, we will invite you and Stephanie in.
Okay.
I can't guarantee you Mike will stick around.
Oh, good, wonderful.
Yes, but yeah, we will specifically talk with Greece and with you and Stephanie.
Absolutely.
But I hope you guys did.
That's a great idea.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tonight, and you got some good information out of this. Because it's kind of reversed since it was more like me, like if you were my clients, this is what I would want. Right. Well, I guess I gotta leave you on, Mike, because I got orders from Stephanie, and I don't mess with the Triple C ladies.
No.
I don't mess with the Triple C ladies.
But I'm Vanna. Here you go, Stephanie.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't mess with the Triple C ladies. So
Dave, on one of the cruise lines, they have an unlimited Starbucks thing, and I'm in on that for $79. An
Wow.
unlimited.
And I'm in like this. Hi, Paul.
What do you think,
Hey, Dave.
Stephanie? An unlimited Starbucks thing. I just saw it the other day. Yes, I do need a refill. Yes, I do.
So
Too expensive. But anyways, no. But you know, and of course, you know, Paul, you and Steph. Now I'm being serious. You and Stephanie, if you guys seriously, if you do have more questions, when you are seriously looking, when you guys get ready to seriously look, you know, please feel free to email me.
No, I'll definitely do that with,
you know, even if we use this show to answer a lot of your questions that you do have.
Sure.
So hopefully this gave you some more head knowledge of what, you know, I'm going to tell you this. Anybody that has never taken a cruise, or if you're still fairly new to the cruise, never be afraid to ask questions, because I'm going to tell you, I've had I after all the years, I could come up with a couple of questions I wish I had asked when I went on my first cruise, but never thought of it then. You know, you know that old saying, sometimes you think about the questions after you go through it, and then all of a sudden you're like, why the heck didn't I ask that question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's why I try to tell my clients and anybody that is looking to it. And I know you got to get going, Paul.
I'm sure Stephanie will have more questions.
I run my commercial here in a little bit. So yeah, so if you guys got any questions, if you guys want to join me in, let's make it. Let's see, today's the 4th. That'll be the 11th. If we want to set it for the 8th, if you guys want to come on the 18th, we will talk strictly cruises going to the Greek islands.
We'll have to talk to Stephanie about that, and we'll see what we can arrange.
Or we might do or even better, if you guys want to do it on a Saturday night, I'll cancel the cafe chat and we'll do a special cruise line chat talking Greek islands.
That's fine. Sounds good. All right, Dave and Mike. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on. Like I said, hopefully you guys got more information out of this that you guys can think about it as you guys.
So yeah, I did. We did got a lot of information. I appreciate that. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for coming on. Now if you could hang out for about 2 minutes and 2 seconds, Mike.
Sure.
I've got to play the commercial. I mean, that's all there is to it on this. I need you. Here we go, guys. We will be back 2 and 2. Oh, hold it. 2 and 2. Yep. This is the Cantrell Country Travelway. I'm the agent and owner, David Cantrell. If you're looking to travel
through the U.S. national parks or maybe to the waterways from beaches to ocean cruises, let the Cantrell Country Travelway help you find your magical vacation.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
We're back. Hey,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
It didn't even play at all. I didn't
You're
hear
not
a
playing
thing.
all?
No. See what I mean? The video's there, but it's not playing at all. Not at all. Oh, okay. 'Cause I don't know how come I'm not seeing it. But the Stephanie said that she saw it. That's
Yeah, so
weird.
it did play. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it played, that's all I want to
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Just make sure you guys, if you are interested and you're looking to travel, please reach out to me.
Mhm.
The links are definitely in the description
Mhm.
for my travel agent profile agent
Yep.
thing. I've got the definitely got the Facebook travel page
Mhm.
listed on the thing. So please make
Okay.
sure we get. Okay, so Mary did say it. Okay,
Okay.
that's why I stopped it. Once they said they started seeing it, then that was the good
Right.
thing. Could hear it well too. Okay, so Stephanie said she could hear it well too. So
Okay.
with that, guys, man, I can't believe it's been an hour and a half.
No.
9:00. I
Yep.
cannot believe that. And you did good, Mike. You actually are sounding
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you. I am getting better, guys. But
So maybe if you take tomorrow off, you'll be ready to.
yeah.
Maybe you'll be able to join
Yep.
Shree meeting
Mhm.
on Saturday, and
Yes. Yes. I'm hoping to.
so. But yes, if you're looking to travel, please reach out to me.
Mhm.
We'll let the Cantrell Country Travelway help you find that magical vacation. Yes, Stephanie,
Sure
it is.
does.
And like I said, you heard me what I told Paul. Let me know. If you can't do the 18th, Stephanie, let me know. We could always do a Saturday night.
Mhm.
I was telling them, and I don't know if you heard me, Mike.
Mm-mm.
If I have to, I'll cancel a Disney Cafe chat,
That's
and
fine.
We'll do a special cruise
That's
line
fine.
show, and talk about in order to get them on and talk about the Greek islands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that would be
So
a great idea, honestly. Really would.
yes. So, all right. Any final thoughts from you, Mike?
What a great the stream today. What it is so good to see everybody. It really is.
Yep. Well,
It's always fun
and
on
here's my thing.
I love them.
And I've had Julie. I actually need to get David T in here, and I need to get
Yes.
Dave Stragan on because I think he's been on
Absolutely.
a few cruises, and I would love to get Jennifer Caruso back.
Oh, let me tell you, that would be so much fun. I am up for that one. Oh yeah. Yes.
But make sure you guys
Great lady
don't
too.
forget, guys, if you are new to my channel and you are enjoying this, please hit the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Share it out. Subscribe. But if most importantly, above all of that, as much as I love that, if you are seriously thinking about wanting to travel, go check out my other shows. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Fort Lauderdale, and I don't know if Debbie is still in here, but I believe I need to reach out to her. I think she is going to come on with me tomorrow night.
Nice.
Yes, I am doing that, and that's at 4:30 tomorrow.
Right.
We are going to be talking about Fort Lauderdale.
Ooh, sounds like fun. I was there once.
What?
I was there once. Very interesting place.
Yes. Apparently, though, they must not allow you back. Would you?
I'd like to go back at some point. But that's after I go to Disney World.
True.
And yes, I love Disney World.
But yes. So reach out to me. The links are in the description. If you are looking to travel. And then don't forget to check out the pre-recorded shows. I will be doing the second part of Yosemite National Valley on Saturday. I'll be recording it this weekend. And I'll have to ask if you're up to doing that.
Okay.
Mike, and I can guarantee you it's only going to be 45 minutes long.
Check.
Huh?
I said I would check.
Let me know. Because I'll probably do it since I can't go nowhere because most likely I'll be waiting on the new car. So I'll probably do it maybe at about 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. And we'll only do it about 45 minutes. And then it will play on Mondays at 5 p.m. No, because like I said, with the new show with the U.S. National Park and Cantrell Countryway Travel Show on that one, the recordings will play at 5. Live streams will be more at 6. So with that, guys, I'm going to say let the Cantrell Country Travelway help you find that magical vacation. Have a great night, and thank you for being here, everyone. For you guys that might have been ninja watching, thank you for ninja watching.
Yep.
For you guys that'll definitely watch the replay, thank you for watching the replay and being supportive. And again, let me help you find that magical vacation. Have a great night, and we'll see you all in the chats.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.